Alright, hello everyone. Welcome to the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. I am DDO's community manager, Cordovan, and I'll be with you for the next hour. We're on Lamannia. We got Epic Destinies to talk about and a whole bunch of other things. We're going to do our best to answer your questions. And I know I'm on the wrong side of the screen this week. It's because I plan to call up a bunch of web pages or forum posts, and they tend to be more left-aligned. So I was like, rather than try to have people read through my head, maybe I better move over this way. All right, welcome everyone. Also, by the way, how great is it that I found that House of Illusion MP3 to play to start the show? Can you ask for better kind of intro music? No. All right. Oh, wow, what a week, huh? We are so busy right now at Standing Stone Games. It is just nuts. We've got Epic Destiny stuff happening on the DDO side, Update 51, and a whole bunch of stuff happening on the other game side as well. So I am one busy person, but I'm glad to be here with you today on Lamannia. We do have a Lamannia preview, our first big Update 51 preview. Now, we had that early preview of Epic Destinies over the summer. I guess it technically still is the summer, right? It's not fall yet, is it? When does it fall? I don't know. Anyway, that happened over the summer, but this is our first big preview. We've had a whole bunch of time to polish things up, and oh, is today the first day of fall? Well, what do you know? Well, what do you know? Anyway, there we are. So that's really the focus of the show today, is to just kind of go through some of this Epic Destiny stuff on Lamannia, answer your questions to the best of my ability, give you a little bit of sense of what's going on, hype up that we have a dev event tonight on Lamannia, so if you would like to ask the people actually making this stuff, some questions about the Epic Destiny trees, tonight's going to be a good opportunity for you. That's from 8 to 10 o'clock tonight on Lamannia. You do have to download the Lamannia client. If you do not, we do have character copy open from the live worlds to Lamannia to check things out if you would like. I'll show you a little bit about how to get going on the process and what have you here during the show today as well. Can we get a FAQ to cover some of the stuff already covered? Maybe. I mean, not like while I'm on the air, but that's not a bad idea. So we'll see. Trying to keep track of all the threads of information can be a challenge. I hear you. So, anyway, let's kind of just start off with a bit of an overview as to what the heck's going on Lamannia here. So, we're going to be leaving this open until about mid-afternoon tomorrow. We do have a dev event again tonight from 8 to 10 o'clock. We don't have all of the Epic Destinies available for preview, but we have most of them, and then we've got the last 3 or whatever that'll be coming in our next preview, which maybe next week, maybe week after. I'm not exactly sure what the preview plan is for that. And then we're going to do some obvious iteration on what's going on here based on your feedback and what have you. So we have, the Epic Destiny, Overhaul general stuff, the feat, level up changes, Divine Crusader, Draconic Incarnation, Fury of the Wild, Grandmaster of Flowers, Legendary Dreadnought, Primal Avatar, Shadow Dancer, Shirati Champion, and Unyielding Sentinel up for preview. In addition to some just kind of random odds and ends that are going to be in Update 51 as well, we have some fixes to some SLAs in the Favored Soul and Eldritch Knight, properly enforcing their cooldown. Creeping Doom, Enveloping Swarm will be now typed properly as Acid. Vistani Deadly Blades will no longer stick around longer than it should. This is a smaller release note, but we're hoping it has a fairly significant impact, which is that related to spells, several changes and optimizations have been made to spells that can affect multiple targets. This should resolve several issues with AoE spells connecting while impacting with shallow water, as well as having a much better time making contact through uneven terrain. There's even a chance that this may have some impact on game performance, although I believe other work related to detection is probably expected to have perhaps a wider impact, and that's something hopefully we'll be able to see in the near future. For items, Sovereign Lightning Strike will now work. all the time. Random loot crafted items will now have their correct weapon damage set. A variety of heroic red fens items now have their correct stat set bonuses. The truthful bow is no longer a liar. It now provides the correct amount of fortification bypass. The Mantle of Sulamates will now provide the correct amount of double strike. A variety of weapons have had their correct material type fixed. Epic Flame Ward can now be restored at the Legacy Altar of Epic Rituals. That's the one down and around the corner in the 12. Down and around the corner from Lehar. Added some more options for the Gem of Many Facets. Fixed a bunch of typos. Several scaling alignment-based burst effects. Now properly changed the base alignment of the weapon they're on. Mind and Matter set bonuses will provide their listed MRR cap. Death Ward will now properly protect you from everything Death Block does. That's actually kind of a significant change. Used to be it needed both. Threads of Fate, now a little more eye-catching visually. New copies of the precision lenses from White Plume Mountain will now have their correct version of Manslayer. Dripping with Magma now applies on ranged attacks and harmful spell casts. Void, the Endless Cold, will now deal cold damage again. Potions can now be used while moving. What? There's a couple of words that are kind of nice to see, huh? Potions may now be used while moving. Typos corrected in the Altar of Epic Legendary Rituals. Shared crafting storage no longer visibly cuts off the max capacity if you got a lot of it. And toggles will now remember their state better through logout and logon. My guess is we're still going to have to play some whack-a-mole on a few things, but it should be quite a bit better than it was. And that's really the main stuff for the overall preview for that. Now let me swap on over to the Epic Destiny overview. Actually, you know what? Before I go to the Epic Destiny overview, let me preview the feat changes. I think this might make a little more sense there. I know, pots can be used while moving. What? I mean, unlike in real life, you can actually walk and drink at the same time. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. You would like to see some devs or streamers lead teams for Crystal Cove for the weekend. I was running Crystal Cove last weekend. Oh, actually, I should mention before I get into that. I was running a bunch of Crystal Cove this weekend, and I too saw some of the lag in game performance issues that we saw on Saturday in particular. One of the things we're looking at doing, and I actually failed to check with QA before I went live here today, so I don't know if the work has actually been done yet. But one of the things we're going to be doing very soon here, hopefully today if I can remember to ping someone after the show, is we're going to dramatically lower the number of treasure map pieces that are going to be needed to open up the Crystal Cove mining challenge. And the reason for that is there's a suspicion that the large stack turn-in of map pieces is having a detrimental impact on, at the very least, the Crystal Cove instance and perhaps beyond. So what we're going to do to fix that is basically make it so you don't have to do that anymore. Last I heard, it was going to potentially be set to something like 50 map pieces to open up the mining challenge. But stay tuned for an official announcement on that. And then hopefully we can find a better solution next time. But at least for now, that's that, at least as of yesterday, was what I heard the plan was. Like I said, I forgot to check before I went live today if we actually did that work. But I know that that's something we are intending to do. Yes, we still have Fate Singer Exalted Angel and the new Epic Destiny that's going to replace Magister. I think the last name I heard for it was Magus or Magus, however you want to say that. I guess I'm not sure if that's actually what we ended up with, but there we are. Over on YouTube, someone's saying Unyielding Sentinel is amazing. Love the shield throw. Wish the stun was longer. Make sure to post that feedback if possible on the Lamannia forums. I know the team is taking a close eye on that feedback and taking a lot of notes. So, Richie over on Facebook is saying the lag started after the Saltmarsh update. Yeah, I mean, we're aware. That, I believe, is part of what we are hoping to target with some of the... I know at least at one point, Torque was taking a look at some detect scripts and things like that that might be contributing to some problems. And I believe that some of that detect scripts may have gone in with Saltmarsh. So that would tie to cause and effect there. All right. Eclipse Magus or something? Yeah, that's what I heard internally. I think it's just being called Magus, but maybe it is Eclipse Magus or something like that. Can the devs remove the X-ray vision of... Maybe not, actually. I don't know. Magus of the Eclipse. Oh, thank you. Magus of the Eclipse. There we go. All right. Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the feat changes here. So in the new framework coming with update 51, we're going to be moving some specific power out of the Epic Destiny trees and into the Epic and Destiny feats. This will help reduce the power spike in Destinies themselves, and but also still let you have the stuff. It'll let us boost feats that are currently underperforming. And it will also spread out power currently concentrated in the upper end of the game, bring it lower so that players can access it more quickly. We're also adding power to Epic Destiny feats and making them available at lower levels. We want to make the legendary Scion of feats provide a more competitive choice, meaning boosting the non-fire feats in particular. Finally, removing the epic skill feats from the game, which will cut down on feat clutter considerably. My understanding is we have seen some I've seen the feedback about, yeah, but what about Intimidate? Maybe. I don't know. If there's a real benefit and desire, and I know that a lot of people take the Intimidate one in particular. I think that's about the only one of the epic skill feats in general people take. But if there's I would expect that we could meet that need in the future. Alright. So, epic feats. Epic power is going to be an auto-granted feat. It'll give you +3 melee power, range power, +6 universal spell power, and a -1% to the spell point cost of all of your spells. It'll also now provide a +1 spell cast level with all casting classes for every 2 times this feat is applied, for a total of +5 to all casting classes at level 30. For the Destiny feats, they no longer have their sphere requirements. That's because there are no spheres under the new Epic Destiny system. Epic spell power will now also provide a 15% spell critical damage with the appropriate elemental type in addition to its +20 associated elemental type spell power. Destiny feats with no minimum level will now be minimum level 22. If it was min level 28, it's going to be 25. And if it was min level 29, it's going to be 28. Not necessarily going to go through everything, but Scion of Earth is going to be applying to transmutation spells, poisons being added, acid and poison spell crit damage is being added. Scion of Air is getting electric spell crit damage. Scion of Fire is no longer going to grant a 25% spell crit damage with all spells. But it is going to get a 25% fire spell crit damage. Scion of Water, +4 to the DCs of evocation spells, +2 to the DCs of everything else, and cold spell crit damage. Scion of Feywild is going to be Sonic and Force, and also give you Sonic Force spell crit damage. Scion of the Shadowfell will be negative spell crit damage. That had been Poison as well. That's now being moved to Scion of Earth. The Scion of Mechanus is Rust and Repair, spell crit damage. And Scion of Celestia is going to grant 25% positive, light, and alignment spell crit damage, and will therefore be the one that I take on my Cleric. I think. Probably. Just a reminder, no more sphere requirements because there's no more spheres, and any character may choose any feat from the Destiny feat list, assuming they meet the other prerequisites. This is incredibly important because it means even characters brand new to Epics can choose from the same pool of feats that an established player can without needing to grind out Epic Destiny XP. Alright, so I've kind of gone over the feat changes. Now let us delve into the Epic Destiny overview. There's kind of a lot to it, so we'll see how it goes. So we're going to fully revamp the Epic Destiny structure, as you know, from the ground up. It's going to be a cohesive leveling experience from 20 to 30 and beyond. The new structure is quite a bit more similar to heroic enhancements. 6 cores along the bottom, 5 tiers reaching to the top. You can now be in a maximum of 3 at a time, so you can just spend across 3. It's similar to what you do with enhancements outside of, Universal and Class, right? But without any ability to scroll horizontally along trees. You select up to 3 trees at a time. You'll socket them into place in your Epic Destiny window just like you do your enhancements. You can spend points freely between the 3 trees. Resetting your Epic Destiny points out of a tree will allow you to choose a new one. As you get level 20 and beyond, you're going to earn Destiny points you can spend in the trees. Epic levels will now display their XP in ranks, just like the heroic ones do. Each point is earned at each rank of an epic level, which means each epic level corresponds to 4 Epic Destiny points. The 5th rank of each epic level will be the level itself, just like in heroics, so you'll earn Destiny points at a steady rate rather than in large chunks every 5 ranks. Each Epic Destiny ability in the new system will also have a Destiny point requirement, as well as a level requirement. Sorry for folks who'd like to front load that stuff at 20. But this will be long-term quite a bit better for the game. So you can't jump right in to the end at level 20 and what have you. So, for the cores, 1 is 20, 2 is 23, 3 is 26, 4 to 6 will be available at levels higher than 30. And there's also a minor action point requirement that should largely be a non-issue for the most part. Tier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is 20, 20, 23, 26, and 30 in terms of level. And then an associated action point spend of 5, 10, 20, 30. Well, 0, 5, 10, 20, 30. Alright. So the new Epic Destiny trees are a mix of the old Epic Destiny abilities and brand new ones. They'll give you a bunch of options. And I'm not going to go into the hype there. As we examine just what made the old Epic Destinies compelling, we were able to make sweeping changes to themes and designs to better support the widest range of available play. Alright, I'm going to skip that. Unlocking trees. If you've never been in Epics before, when you reach level 20, you will be directed to the Fate Spinner and a new public area accessible from her dialogue. This area will contain NPCs that correspond to each destiny. So I've already taken the liberty of doing just that. I spoke to the Fate Spinner in the test dojo on Lamannia, and you will speak to the Fate Spinner as well, just through the regular game like the Marketplace or what have you, to do that. And then you'll go into a room much like this. You can talk to the Fate Spinner, and it'll tell you more about Epic Destinies. It's called the Junction of the Spheres. The Venn diagram. What do you want to know more about? Epic Destinies? Okay. So, some of this text needs to be changed. We already have builders and the old builder and spender text in there, for example. Fate points are something that's going to focus the power of your destiny. That's largely what the reincarnation is about. So fate points grant you 2 hit points, 1 spell point per. Bonus only active at level 20 and above. For every 3 fate points, you'll get a destiny point. Fate points will persist through all forms of reincarnation and can be earned by unlocking a destiny. That'll be the first way you'll get fate points, because you'll get 2 of them. Every 3 epic past lives will get you another one, and then Tomes of Fate will grant you more fate points. And I can go into that in just a little bit. Otherwise, I guess that's pretty much the basic. But what every character is going to need to do, once you hit level 20 or when update 51 hits and you are level 20, is you'll speak to the fate spinner. You'll speak to the fate spinner, go to the junction of the spheres, and then you'll see divine sphere, primal sphere, and martial sphere. You'll take a quick trip over into that area, and then you'll speak to every one of the NPCs. Now, you only have to do this once, once Update 51 goes live, but then in the future, you'll want to do it to pick your epic destinies. But you want to do it at the start here, because you're going to want all those fate points. So speak, it'll unlock that epic destiny, and then give you the associated points to spend on it. This is kind of how we're mechanically shifting over from the old system to the new system, as well as allowing for progression through the new system. So kind of a one-time pain that people are going to have to deal with, but it'll also give you some information about each tree and all that if you need it. So it offers some benefit there. Have I died yet? No, I have not died yet. I'm on an admin, and I'm on Lamannia. And hopefully that means I'll be okay. Already talked to this one. Alright. I am ready. So it may feel a little intimidating at the start here, especially as people kind of get used to the system and how it's all going to work. I believe long term, though, you'll find that it should be a much easier to understand system. It's going to make a lot more sense as you level up, because it'll more closely mirror the experience you've been taught from the enhancement system. And it's also going to allow us to expand the number of epic destinies available and just generally improve the system over time. So just by doing that, you will have, every character is going to, well, once you hit level 20, what have you, you'll have 9 permanent destiny points along with 27 fate points. I gave myself, let's see if I could find it in my inventory here. Yeah, I gave myself a Tome of Fate plus 3 as an admin here. These are the Tomes of Fate that you may find in various things like the DDO store and potentially elsewhere in the future. Alright, so I'm reading that. Well, I'm doing that. Yeah, did I miss one? It should be 12. I did miss one, didn't I? I need to do that. Gosh darn it. I think, was it Primal that I missed? Yes. Okay. Great. Alright. 12 is the new 9. Yeah. Alright, there we are. Okay, so you'll see here, for example, then, that you can just start spending into these trees. Remember that these higher level ones are going to be above 30, so that's why they're not currently visible. And I think at this point, I will probably be kind of bopping back and forth a little bit. But let me actually probably move back to the forum threads. That'll actually be an easier way, I think, in large part to go through the trees. Let's see if there's anything else I need to, though, continue. I've talked about unlocking the trees. So there are no more twists of fate under the system. You'll be able to go across your 3 trees, but your fate points will contribute to 1 permanent destiny point. Every 3 fate points you've earned will contribute to 1 permanent destiny point, and you can see that being the case here, where I had 12 and now I've got 13 because I read a Tome of Fate plus 3 fate points gives you 1 permanent destiny point. Fate points will also get you 2 hit points and 1 spell point. Which, you know, whatever. Okay. You'll be able to get them from Tomes of Fate, from Epic Past Lives, at the ratio of 3 Epic Past Lives to 1 Fate point, which is an improvement over what it currently is, which is 4 to 1. And then from unlocking Destinies in the new system, you'll no longer get bonus Fate points at level 29 and 30. The current maximum Fate points is 55. That'll be 36 from unlocking the trees, 16 from all of your Epic Past Lives if you're a completionist on that, and plus 3 from a Tome of Fate. So you'll start with up to 18 permanent Destiny points from Fate at level 20. And Epic Reincarnation, rather than requiring Karma, Epic Reincarnation will simply allow you at level 30 to take an Epic Past Life and go back down to 20. So we're not going to have both an XP requirement and a Karma requirement in each tree. Essentially, once you hit level 30, you can Epic Reincarnate. Epic Completionist, rather than granting a Twist of Fate, will instead grant a flat 1 Destiny action point. You will also earn additional copies of Epic Completionist every 12 Epic Past Lives you will earn thereafter. This means if you have 24 Epic Past Lives and start with 2 copies of Epic Completionist, and will be able to earn 2 more as I reach the 48 total Epic Past Lives. So, I'm not speaking to too many of you here at this point, but for those of you out there, if you have all 48, you'll have 4 copies of Epic Completionist for a total of plus 4 permanent Destiny points. We already talked about there's no Epic Destiny XP, it's just the plain XP of your character. Karma is also gone. You will no longer be required to level up in a Destiny or earn XP in a Destiny to unlock new trees. This chart's been around for quite a while, so I guess I'm not going to go through all that. We also largely explained it. And I guess I could go into the design paradigm, but I think we've already largely covered that on this show and elsewhere. What about caster levels? Old Epic Destinies gave specific bonuses to specific caster levels at their cores, but they didn't give max caster levels. So there was also a smattering of Epic caster level, max caster level bonuses spread across some trees. The new Epic Destinies will give no specific caster levels to classes. You'll instead get +1 caster level and +1 max caster level with all spells for every 2 epic levels you've earned, so at level 30, you'll be at +5. There's a bit going into DC types. Each type of DC has plenty of room to be specialized in. Instead of living in a single tree, looks like Magus the Eclipse will be, its own case. But the new spell DC paradigm is as follows. Each core of a casting tree will get you +1 epic bonus to all DCs. So core 2 will grant +2, core 3 will grant +3. It does not stack since it is typed, so taking cores from other trees will not increase your DC. So that means it can't, if you get core 3 in one tree and core 3 in another, you don't have +6, you got +3. Each of the casting trees in Tier 5 has an enhancement that grants +1, 2, 3 to all DCs. Now, there you go. In Tier 3, there's a multi-selector of a subset of DCs as well. There's an anti-requisite of the same DC found in other trees, so, you can't stack up your necromancy or something like that, for example. We already talked about spell power, I believe. Each core of a spellcasting destiny will grant +5 spell power to the thematic types, like Fatesinger will be Force and Sonic, as well as +5 universal spell power. There will also be +20 thematic and +20 universal spell power in the tiers of each spellcasting destiny. So each spellcasting tree will get you a total of +35 thematic and universal, assuming you spend into it. Like I said, we got rid of the spell crit chance, but we moved that into the feats. And let's see, melee range power. Each tree that grants melee and range power will now do it at an equal rate across all trees to prevent one tree from simply granting more than the rest. We want you to choose the tree that best fits your playstyle and not the one that has the best melee range power numerically. So melee power per core ability will be 10. Range power per core ability is 8. Each melee range tree will also grant both melee and range power at the same time, unless you're in Fury of the Wild and Sharadi, which will grant only melee and only ranged, respectively, and contain only melee and only ranged attacks, respectively. It looks like we're basically going to be linking usage per rest abilities to a heroic shared component. So, like with Healing Spring in the new paradigm, we'll instead use wild empathy charges and what have you. So, it'll make it more of an extension of your existing abilities than an unconnected system meant to replace them. We're going to reclaim as many of the old suboptimal feats as we can, like an Epic Destiny ability that grants a significant bonus if you have Luck of Heroes trained, in ways that would reward you for having them in your build without making it mandatory. You'll also see a lot of abilities that tie into Destiny and Epic feats that are underused or overlooked, like things. I don't know. We're basically working on that. No more ability score bonuses in the trees, meaning the +1 stat ones. They were a lot of the real estate of the old Epic Destiny, Destinies, and were frankly more trouble than they were worth from a build perspective. So any class or build can effectively use any tree without worrying about its associated ability score mismatches. And we also have more room to put in better abilities. If an ability in a new Epic Destiny uses a DC, it's going to follow a universal formula across the board. That formula will be 20 plus the highest of a various group of ability modifiers, plus the spell school bonus or DC boost as applicable. So that means like SLAs of all kinds will use the higher of intelligence, wisdom, or charisma instead of just one or a subset. That means you can expect a relatively small range of DCs for your abilities that use the same stats, even across separate trees. It does mean also if you're a spellcaster, your primary spellcasting stat will be able to contribute evenly, no matter what tree you're in. Oh yeah, it's right here, Magus of the Eclipse. A brand new Epic Destiny that focuses on negative cold necromancy spells, as well as weaving potent anti-magical defenses. We're going to be having that in the next preview. Alright. In the lower tiers of each Destiny tree, you're going to find an enhancement labeled a Destiny Mantle. What these are powerful, persistent abilities that must be toggled in order to gain their benefits. You can only have one Destiny Mantle active at a time, but you can have multiple mantles if you want to swap between them. The exclusive toggles are how we're going to be keeping passive abilities and aspects separate from each other. My poor... whatever. Okay. There we go. Sorry, I'm just noticing my bad shadow. My bad green screen here. Oh well. Whatever. Epic Strikes. Scattered throughout the Destiny trees, you'll find abilities labeled Epic Strikes. They will also share a cooldown, but are not exclusive. These powerful abilities are enhanced as you spend points into them, but of course, they're all going to have their shared cooldown. And then in Tier 5 of each tree, you're going to find an Epic Moment. The Epic Moments are powerful abilities with a long cooldown, generally 5 minutes, and represent a significant amount of late-game power. Our design philosophy for Epic Moments is to kind of give freedom to the design space of the trees, but also break one fundamental rule of DDO for its duration. So, for example, the Shadow Form Epic Moment, Shadow Mastery, will allow you to be considered stealthed regardless of what you do. And that's going to be pretty hot, for example. So, but the idea is basically the Epic Moments are biggies. And you only get to use them about once every 5 minutes. I think we may have a few that are currently typed as 3 minutes that are probably going to get updated to 5. But they're supposed to be biggies. So, there you go. Alright, before I kind of move on then to something else, let me real quick kind of take a look at chat, see what we got going on there. See if there's any questions I need to answer. Wink. Uncap double strike on Action Hero. So I heard about that Action Hero thing. That was the one that was giving you basically a third chance to bypass cooldowns and such. So that's going to be going away, from my understanding. Sorry. It was too difficult to balance around because it really kind of gave you the haves and have-nots and became essentially a required choice for too many people. Yes, we have a dev event tonight on Lamannia from 8 to 10 p.m. That's not going to be on DDO stream, but it is going to be on Lamannia, and that's going to be an opportunity for you to speak directly with the developers working on Epic Destinies, along with members of QA and other members of the team who are going to be around to help answer questions and what have you. My understanding, Captain Ultros, who asks, will Epic Completionist require any 12 Epic Past Lives, or will it still look at the spheres that each Past Life previously came from? My understanding is any Epic Past Lives, because there are no more spheres in the game. So the whole concept of the spheres as it relates to the layout is gone. You rarely true reincarnate, so are you being punished for that now? No, you're not. If you were never into reincarnation, things should, in some ways, be better off for you under the new system than the old, because you'll be able to more consistently get all of your trees spread across them and what have you. So, rather than being punished, it should be good for you, although, you know, you're going to get a lot of benefits from reincarnating, so that's working as intended. It's true. Listen's chart, who was asking on Twitch about the number of points. They are concerned about a lack of points. So 52 total at level 30 will leave you with 22 points across 2 more trees, assuming you max out the 1 tree. But that's actually intended, right? The intention is not that you are able to max out more than 1 Epic Destiny. Rather that if you choose to max out 1 Epic Destiny, you'll be able to get somewhere close to Tier 3 at level 30, of course, here. Under the new system. Now, if you choose not to max out one of your Epic Destinies, then, you know, you're going to be able to get higher up in the other trees you want to specialize in. I would also point out that that's level 30. Remember, eventually we're going to be increasing the level cap, and so eventually people will be able to get higher up in the trees through regular progression. But for the baseline of the 20 to 30 play experience, that's true, that it is going to provide some limits as to how high up the various trees you'll be able to spend in at the same time. I'm also aware, Geezer Hermit, that some folks are pretty sad about losing the energy burst, since the cone will only damage 50% of what the burst did. That's true. Energy burst is something that is being dialed back a little bit. Can we see the Epic Destiny cloak you get if you had maxed out Epic Destinies? No, I don't think that's in the game yet, is it? I don't think it's in this preview. Alright. Has he said some date? No, I've not provided a date for Update 51, sorry. Too early for that yet. Hello. On the Epic Destiny for Artificer, Warlock, Alchemist, it will be a new science studies type system. Can I say something? I would, I guess, wait for the design team and that to come back with our preview. I guess I don't really know much about that, unfortunately. All right. What will happen with the Magister when Update 51 goes out? This one from YouTube. Will it be the new Epic Destiny already? Yes. Magister is going away with Update 51. It'll be replaced by Magus of the Eclipse. Alright, heading over to Facebook. Can I do my gold roll? I mean, I'm on Lamannia, but sure. Woohoo. Alright. How about making SLAs use your highest stat and making it more versatile, period? That's some feedback that I know that the team has looked at. I believe there is an intention for SLAs to use what is most likely to be your core stat for your class. But the idea of allowing for more versatile stat use is something we could perhaps consider in the future. Let's see. Sorry, Jeremy, over on Facebook. It sounds like maybe you dropped your VIP, but if you lost your VIP, as in you paid for it but you're not getting the benefits, please do get in touch with account support, and you can do that through help.standingstonegames.com. Right, I think I'm actually caught up on that, so... Yeah, I've heard that plan about the cloaks. I've not actually seen the cloak yet, so I don't actually know where it is. Sorry, I don't know where it sits actually in the entire process here. Sorry. I was in the Junction of the Spheres, and that's where you're going to be going when you first log in. When you reach level 20 for the first time, or for many of us, if you have a level 20 plus character when this goes live. And that will simply be done. This is the Fate Spinner in the test dojo, but you'll just speak to the Fate Spinner to travel to the Junction of the Spheres. Alright, so let's just kind of spend a little bit into Divine Crusader here. So I'm going to give myself some melee power, Get Smite Evil. Shield Bashes is going to be useful, not for this character, because it's just whatever. Immune from durability damage. That'll be kind of nice. Confront any foe. Let's boost up my attack. What have you. New concentration is the epic strike in this case. The ground you're standing on is consecrated. While standing on consecrated ground, you and your allies are healed every 3 seconds for 1 point of positive energy per character level. Get saves. Let's see, before I actually spend... That's too much. What would be a good one to do? Let's try Draconic here. As you can see, we've got some things that are still... in process. This is, after all, just our first preview here. So, Attune the Arcane. This is a mantle. Spells of the chosen element will have 25% chance to deal additional damage per caster level, with a cooldown of 10 seconds. So let's actually just kind of take a couple here, just for funsies. That hasn't really changed. It's actually not. There we go. And as you can see, this is the toggle, essentially, that you'll be using if you choose this sphere. Let's try the epic strike of uncapped dodge. Imbues your weapons with evil energies. But that doesn't seem very nice. And then as you can see, you only have one mantle active at it. Oh, actually, that wasn't the mantle. Never mind. It's a strike. Yes, let me just repeat what Glassjaws states over on Twitch for everyone else here, and that this was quoted from the forums. If you have at least one character before this overhaul that has fully capped all of their epic destinies, you will receive an exclusive cloak featuring the now deprecated star map to commemorate your achievement. Now, is that cloak worth making sure that you're capped out on all your epic destinies? Remember, this isn't epic past lives. This is just cap XP. Maybe you want to do that. If you really want that cloak. It's an exclusive cloak, and it's only going to be granted this one time, so. There you go. Is this the desired presentation of the trees? Yes and no. Clearly there's some additional work that needs to take place on it. Icons that are temporary, icons that are just still stubbed, which is what these kind of little things like this look like. Stub means generic because we haven't actually put the for reals use one in there. And there you go. Can reset your trees. Let's move over to Fury of the Wild here. And, whatever. Grandmaster of Flowers. Sounds good. Wellness of Spirit. See if we can get a cool strike looking. There we go. It's kind of rad. Good question, Graskitch. I imagine that we are going to have to take a look at what we're going to do for epic feats. Whether that be a Heart of Wood or some kind of universal reset or what have you. I don't actually know what the answer is going to be, other than I would presume we're going to sort through it for Update 51. So hopefully we'll have something more to say about that as we get closer to it. But, you know, in some cases, you know, the whole epic feat system is going to be changed, so I would imagine that would involve a respec for pretty much anyone who's got an epic feat, right? Because we're going to have to reassign all those by default feats and what have you. Do they need to be currently maxed when the update drops? Yes. This is related to that cloak. Basically what's going to happen, as I understand it, is when you log in with update 50 on a character, it's going to and do something or other. It's going to check, say, are you maxed out on all your Epic Destiny Sphere XP? Or Epic Destiny XP, not spheres. And then just give you the cloak if the answer is yes. Will the summoning and sigils of Magister show up in other trees? I would imagine the answer to that is yes. Magister is being replaced with Magus of the Eclipse to, I think, better focus it. But under this new system, we have the ability to really just create as many Epic Destiny trees as we have the ability to do. You know, we're no longer going to be locked into the kind of sphere system where you really only have 3 per sphere. Because of the new system, add as many as we have the ability to add, really. So I would imagine that things that are in Magister that might not be addressed right away with Update 51 would give us an opportunity to create trees that might specialize into that. I'm thinking Summoner in particular, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, if you want that cloak, yeah, you're going to need to have that XP maxed out. But the exact distribution method, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. My guess is it's going to be an NPC of some type that you'll speak to, but I don't actually know. No, Chuck, we do not have a raid planned for Saltmarsh. I think I'm caught up. Are we going to get Arcana Tech? I don't know. I don't know. In this case, capped refers to... Well, I could probably show you on live here quick, as we're kind of wrapping things up. But that would basically be if you open up the old Epic Destiny panel and you got all the trees there, as long as they're all capped out, you're fine. That would be the spheres then, right? So it'd be the... Divine, Primal, Martial, Arcane. As long as the Karma XP is capped out, you're going to get the cloak. I think I might have said earlier the Epic Destinies capped out, but I'm pretty sure the actual answer is the spheres capped out. I'll have to get back to you on that, but I think that's the plan. As long as it's 6 million in each sphere, for example, I think you'll be okay. All right. Well, Yeah, I'm gonna actually have to check back on that, Sardonic Fox. What is that? What is that? If you have one character in this, has fully capped all of their epic destinies. Okay, well, that seems to read to me that you would basically have to be tier 5 in all epic destinies. I'll have to double check on that, see what we're gonna do. Yeah, sorry, Joseph. So as that forum post reads, it does sound like it is Epic Destiny XP rather than Karma XP. And I think I spoke without properly considering the ramifications of what I was saying. I don't actually know which of those two it is now. As it reads, it sounds like Epic Destiny XP, but it seems... I could have sworn it was whether or not you're capped in each sphere. So I'll get back to you next week on that question there. All right, and hey, I managed to talk for an hour, didn't I? Thanks for watching the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. I did want to thank everyone who took part in our content creator preview here yesterday? Day before? Monday? What day is it now? Monday, I think, right? And that was our first time doing that. Allowing, say, wiki editors and streamers and all that to really join the rest of the team early, getting onto Lamannia to get information out to the public, do a little bit of hype on Twitch, YouTube, that kind of thing, but predominantly get content creation needs taken care of. You know, I know that we had some app creators, you know, people that kind of do sort of websites related to Epic Destinies and what have you. We had wiki people, and we had streamers and YouTubers and what have you as well. And it seemed to go pretty well. I know when I checked on Twitch on Monday afternoon, we were averaging about 350 people watching concurrently on Twitch, and that's higher than a typical afternoon there for us by about 2 to 3 times. And I heard from the streamers as well that they saw a bump in the number of people watching their shows. And like I said, I've been getting emails from folks who are guide writers and what have you, like, oh, thanks for giving me a little bit more time to get this done. And then also even heard from a couple people who are like, hey, it was kind of nice to have the experts get an early chance to explain it to the rest of us. So that was cool too. So I'm going to imagine we'll be doing more of these early content creator previews in the future. I don't know that we'll be able to do it for the next Epic Destiny preview. Although I think if the timing works out, we might as well. But I don't know what the plan is exactly for that. So we'll have more information as we get closer. But we're certainly going to be doing more of these content creator previews in the future. And we do want to thank everybody who's been reading on the forums and offering feedback. This is a big system. And there's a ton to talk about. So the more feedback you're able to offer us, hopefully the better we're going to be able to meet your needs here with Update 51. So. Not quite sure what you are saying. Oh, I think I know. Do you know if there's any work being done to make the Feywild expansion upgradable in the DDO market like Saltmarsh? Similar to the last time we did a big change in the market, it's not very exactly simple to retroactively apply the ability to upgrade from the DDO market to existing packages. So anything new that we come out with, I would expect to have that upgrade ability in the DDO market. And I know we want to offer it for things like Feywild and earlier as well, but I don't know that that's going to be happening anytime soon because it largely involves recreating a lot of that stuff, and there's some issues associated with that that would need to be addressed. But at the very least, moving forward, the plan is to offer that upgrade path for future expansions. Oh, and I did forget the weekly bonus. I think I know what it is off the top of my head. but I don't have it set up. I'm going to go off the top of my head and hope I'm right. This is the final weekend of Crystal Cove, for 1. And for 2, we're going to be giving you a challenge rewards boost. Challenge rewards boost, I can't remember if we're doing 25%, something like 25% challenge rewards boost. Exact figure to be determined, but it's a challenge rewards boost. Alright, thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you next week. Have a good one.